31, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to roll call.
Councilmember Mazzoni.
Here.
Councilmember Palfini.
Here.
Councilmember Virasan. Present. Councilmember Whiteside. Present. Mayor Parham.
Present. All right, next is the acceptance of agenda and urgency items. Is there anything from the agenda that needs to be amended?
Do we have to read into that change, or should we at all?
No, that was updated in time.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as written.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. At this point, we'll move on to non-agenda public comment. This is a point in time if anybody from the public that would like to come up and address the council for anything not on the agenda. Now is your time to speak.
Timer, or am I good?
No, I'll
Okay.
Yeah, we're having a few little walking back and forth, so go ahead.
I won't take up too much of your time. Mr. Mayor, council members, my name is Sherry Lawson. I am running for the Siskiyou County Auditor Controller position in the upcoming June primary. I am just getting out to all the cities to introduce myself, get my face out there, let people know who I am, what my qualifications are, and why I'm running for the position. So briefly, I currently reside in Etna. My family has lived in Siskiyou County since I was 3 years old. Grew up in Etna, went to school in Etna all the way through high school. I earned my bachelor's degree from Simpson University in organizational leadership, and most recently completed a program in accountable to further strengthen my financial background. I began working for Siskiyou County in 2005 as a fiscal assistant in the ag department. I have been with the county cumulatively for 18 years, always in fiscal roles. Fiscal roles in the ag department. I was an admin services manager in community development, which covers environmental health, the building department, and planning. And most recently, and for the last 4 years, I serve as the county's deputy county administrator, chief fiscal officer in county administration, where I work closely with the county administrator, the board of supervisors, and the auditor's office. A big part of my job is to help develop and implement the county's approved budget. In addition to that, I am responsible and have a heavy role in the county's policy development and oversight. I get the pleasure of working with every single county department across a multitude of financial functions. So to say that I am familiar with county process, county finances, and government finance in general, I feel very confident saying that. I'm running for the auditor controller position again because it's the next step in my career, but I bring 18 years of actual real life Siskiyou County financial experience with me to this role. I have a vision for the auditor's office that's grounded in transparency and accountability. The auditor's office is arguably, and the auditor controller position, one of the most important positions in the entire county. It is responsible for oversight of all the funds coming into the county and going out of the county. And with that, you want a person in the seat that is going to have strong internal controls. They're going to enforce those strong internal controls, educate the staff, and get down into the details and make sure that everything is being evaluated accurately so we can have clean audits to make sure that we are providing the best service to the county, and that is something that I will bring with me if elected to the auditor controller position. Additionally, the auditor controller is not just about oversight, but it's about being a good partner. It's about being a good partner to our cities, to our courts, to our departments, someone that they can rely on for guidance and for clarity and for support. I am running for the auditor controller not as an outsider, but someone looking in, or someone that's already in the inside. I work at the Center of County Operations as the Chief Fiscal Officer. I see firsthand how government decisions impact our budgets, our departments, our internal controls, and our taxpayers. I bring real operational experience and a desire to improve accountability and transparency. And I'm not campaigning on theories or politics. I've spent nearly 2 decades doing this work. So thank you so much for your time. There is an event in Mount Shasta on Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Parker Plaza to hear from other candidates who are running in our local June primary. So I would encourage anyone that is available to attend that. And I have some flyers I'll leave with the clerk if you're interested in any more information about me.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Nice meeting.
All right. Do we have any other non-agenda public comment this evening?
Hello, my name is Matthew DeGrazia. Bear with me, I don't have my glasses. So I'm here, I went to the recent Parks and Recreation meeting, and I noted two concerning developments regarding on how cities' funds are managed. First, the repair for the park gazebo received only a single bid. During the discussion about purchasing building blinds, it was suggested that the contract be directed to a board member's personal connection. To maintain public trust, the city must strictly adhere to transparent, competitive bidding processes. Public funds should be allocated based on value and merit, not personal relationships. Furthermore, I want to address the current state of the community gym. Recent board data reveals a troubling trend that 75% of the new members that are coming over are signing up through insurance, and only 25% are paying out of pocket. They're primarily coming over because another facility is closed temporarily. Alan Shoemaker described it as a malfeasance. Our current fee structure acts as a barrier to low-income residents. A municipal facility should not be a luxury service for those with premium insurance. It should be an accessible resource for the entire community. Currently, we are failing to serve the very residents who need these facilities. I formally propose that the city council schedule a motion to pursue state and federal grants to modernize the fitness center. With the correct upgrades, we can remove the financial barriers, modernize the equipment, and assure self-sustainability. A modernized logistical sounding gym would transform our underutilized space into a self-sustaining asset for public health. So I'm just asking that this grant-seeking strategy be placed on the next official agenda and try to ensure that resources are managed with integrity and designed for everyone in mind. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your comment. As a point of clarification, the Parks and Rec Board is not a part of the city. They're not a municipal arm. We don't control their organization. They're a standalone nonprofit organization. They're their own service district. So I would encourage you to attend their next meeting and to share your thoughts with their board, as we don't have any direct governance over that organization.
Okay, just when we had that discussion before, you had invited me to go over there and have that discussion with them, so.
Yes, and I encourage you to have that discussion with them as well. The good thing about your comments here tonight is, you know, the people who are here tonight in attendance and those who watch these meetings online in the future will get to hear your comments, so it will reach more people in the community.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. All right, do we have any further non-agenda public comment tonight?
Thank you. Hello, my name is Alonzo Green. I am a co-owner and founder of Lincoln Heights Historic Association. We are just starting to get going with seeing how we can actually help Lincoln Heights and the people therein. So, brings me to my next thing is the question of monies that were allocated for streets in Lincoln Heights. So this is what people in Lincoln Heights hear, which I hope that you guys really lend an ear. They said to me, hey, Lonzo, you know what? The money was for Lincoln Heights to get the roads done. Right. Somebody asked, could they be moved to clean up Black Butte? I appreciate that. That has nothing to do with Lincoln Heights. And so we're here tonight, members of Historic Lincoln Heights, to ask, is that still something that's on the agenda, or have you taken care of that issue? Or did you actually, without talking to somebody from Lincoln Heights, just move that money for now, and you were gonna tell us about it later? Is there somebody that can say what's going on with that, or?
I'm willing. Anybody else?
Well, I can speak to the fact that that money has not been moved or spent from its general fund account. So that money is one general fund money. It is not specifically, set aside for any specific purpose for Main Street or otherwise, and that money has not been spent. There's been no votes on, expenditures at this time.
Awesome. Okay.
And then I don't know what the amount is, so I'll have to lean on Public Works or our city manager, but we do have an active project for road repair this year going in Lincoln Heights.
So, what we're currently working, it's going to be a combined project because we are redoing the curbs over there on East Lincoln Heights. We are working on a grant. We're very close to be able to go out to bid for that grant. And during that project, streets is involved. That is not covered by grant funding. So we are going to have to use some of that money to cover the streets repair over there. We also do have a water line project for Church Street that is covered by grants. And same with the sewer line that goes from Lincoln Heights out to the sewer plant. We're going after grant funding for that also. That is what's currently in the works for, that we're doing.
Mr. Green, I'm a simple person. Let me give you a simplest answer I can. Public Works has been working extensively to make Lincoln Heights better.
Yes, they
And
have.
by that, I mean, historically, it has not had the sewer lines. It has not had curbs or infrastructure that any other neighborhood in this city has had. But in order for us to use the money for the streets effectively, all of that piping has to be redone before we pull that money out and put street down. Otherwise, we put street down, then we have to tear it up, then we have to put the water in, then we're in a place where we don't have a street. So I hear your frustration as coming from Lincoln Heights, and know that if you've been listening to the city council meeting, we're very concerned, and we keep leaning on Public Works, asking when those projects are coming. But they've been doing a phenomenal job in getting grants, because we want that community in Lincoln Heights to look like what everybody else has had. And so I would ask, especially because you have a voice in Lincoln Heights, please bring that back to Lincoln Heights.
Okay. I really appreciate your comments and hearing this. Mr. Mazzola.
Excuse me, but one thing though, and I talked to a couple of folks about it, that money was set in when we had it. It wasn't all the way detonated. That's what we decided when some of the council wasn't, that are up there weren't. That was decided when it happened. But as I told someone else, some of that money was used for lost revenue. That touched it, but not just, it's gonna go to Lincoln Heights, but some of your incomes that are gone, some of the housing that wasn't gonna come back, some of that would have to be used for it. So if that's what you're taking, then I don't know what amount it is, but it's not gonna be the huge
Right,
amount
right.
I think everyone's thinking.
Right.
So you have to look at loss for the city, revenue for the city. And then you have to look at some of these half-built
Correct.
that have to be taken care of also. I
And,
mean, it's for that, for the curbs, for the sidewalks, whatever we have to do, and not anyone in there that I talked to, just wanted to throw that money anywhere else, so.
right.
Just so you
Well,
know,
thank you, Mark.
we're behind that.
Thank you.
And last question, Mr. Green, isn't there a fundraiser coming up for Lincoln Heights?
I and my organization weren't made aware of that until recently. So, once again, people in Lincoln Heights kind of feel spited. But that whole thing some of those people live in weed. You didn't think to ask people of Lincoln Heights, what do you want in your backyard? Whose history is it? It's ours.
It is, and I think I just want to make the mention, and hopefully you'll take it back to Lincoln Heights if it hasn't made it there. I believe it's May 29th at 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And you can go to lincolnheights.org to be able to look for tickets. And I hope that if anyone hasn't received that information, that you could take it back to Lincoln Heights.
Sad to say they've heard it. And that word that I shared was not just me. That's the word that I hear in the Heights. How come we didn't know?
So let me just, so I understand this. So folks that live in there have,
If I can interject too, I'll just remind everyone that this wasn't an agendized topic for this evening, so we may want to curtail prolonged discussion on this. Thank you.
no, thank you. I thought about it.
Okay.
Dustin? Okay.
Thank you for your time. I just want you to know, we are not an enemy of the city. We bleed green and white. So as things go on, hopefully, as a nonprofit organization, we'll be able to help the city as well as you help us. So thank you.
Well, and Mr. Green, one of the things that I've noticed in my short time here on the DS is there's been a lot of misinformation in this community. And so I appreciate you coming tonight, and I would encourage people from all communities, because we would like curbs and gutters where I live as well, to come to the city council meetings and to join the 7 people that watch from home and be engaged. So I appreciate what you're doing to organize people to get that engagement. We need that.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I did want to make one clarification. When I approached council, it was because I have multiple projects and I don't know how to pay for it. I was not suggesting anything other than I wanted clear guidance. I wasn't suggesting to spend the $4.3 million of deferred revenue. I just simply want to make it clear that when I approached council, it was simply because I had an RFP that was active and I had no way to pay for it. So that's all I asked.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Information is the key. We're trying to grow as wheat grows. We've taken a blow with Roseburg leaving. We've got to create something that keeps our kids here. And it's sustainable, and they're healthy, and they're mentally ready to go out and challenge the world. And I think we could do that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any additional non-agenda public comment tonight? No? All right. We'll move on to council member announcements, meeting reports, and comments. And we'll start with Councilmember Bereson.
Hello, hi. I don't have much to report this month. We are having the second annual Lao New Year celebration over at the community center on Saturday, May the 16th. We're gonna have a Miss Songkran or Miss New Year celebration parade. We're gonna have almsgiving, and we're gonna have traditional Lao New Year blessing. And a lot of people have asked, why celebrating New Year in May? In the Lao culture, or in the a lot of Asian culture, you celebrate spring, the new coming, new growth, new beginnings. So it is a very important time for us to celebrate and have the whole community come and join or see what the culture is all about. Like I said, the Lao people has been here since 1979. They have never showed the culture, but our children, our grandchildren, we are here. So we're trying to stay and culture as diverse as wheat is. We are trying to bring everyone together and showcase what a beautiful culture we have all together here. So hopefully everyone comes and join us. Saturday morning starts at 9:30. It's going to end around 10, 11, give or take. But come on in. There's going to be food. We accept donation at the door, and it's going to be a great event. So hopefully I see you guys to join us. Thank you. That's all I got.
All right, Councilmember Mazzoni.
Just something, a couple things real quick. There was a LAFCO meeting this Wednesday, and I didn't make it. I had some doctor appointments to go to. But then I got an email stating that each city's going to be putting, around $5,000 in there, for some other practices. I'm not sure what the whole thing is for the budget, basically. And I missed a month before that because I wasn't notified. So I'll miss Lola meetings, but usually those I try not to ever miss. But if I think there's in your packet or on your emails, it'll kind of tell you about the LAFCO and the money that each city's going to have to kind of put in for at this time. And then also too, I'm looking forward to going to Slough Festival. I missed it last year and I heard it was a good time. And so I'm into it. So I'm hoping again, I'll support that to at least show up and go check it out. I don't know if I'll be there, I'll be there at 9, but I don't know if I'll be there till midnight. But I definitely suggest if you have nothing planned to go check this out. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Councilmember Whitstein.
Just a couple of things. I have been out of the country, but before I left, I have been going to the recent track meets in our community, and I just want to say that it is a wonderful sporting event for our youth. And I wanted to give a shout out to Imani, who is turning out to be quite a track star at Weed High School. And I hope that some people get out to be able to watch her phenomenal skills. Even though she did beat my son many times in races, it's phenomenal watching her. As a matter of fact, she beat all of the varsity team of Mount Shasta because she's just that exceptionally talented. I would also like to once again give a reminder that the Lincoln Heights Legacy Project is starting to build, and there is a fundraiser on May 29th at the Weed Community Center. It's from 5:30 till 9 o'clock at night. The tickets are $30. They can be purchased on the Lincoln Heights History.org website. The project is to refurbish in the location that the original Lincoln Heights Club, that is all of the individuals who were the primary workers at our mill, that's where they were allowed to go because of segregation that was then in existence in the city of Weed. They are looking to reestablish on that exact same site a historical museum for Lincoln Heights dedicated to their history, how it was that there was the mass migration here, how Lincoln Heights got inhabited, and to celebrate their culture. So I would invite anyone who is willing to participate in that to purchase tickets, again, at lincolnheightshistory.org. It is a wonderful special menu that is catered by Mount Shasta Supermarket, which is prime rib, and Rosemary Chicken, which is proving to be phenomenal. So those are all I have.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Palpini.
Well, I attended the Collier Center meeting, and with the information received from that center, which is the rest center going out of our dear old state, I'm going to bring forward a request from our president for funding from TOT, because originally we were given funds for support to build. Operating was never, and it was okay. We staffed a lot with volunteers, but that market is changing constantly. And so what has been possible before is no longer possible without at least requesting help from the city. And so that's kind of where I'll be looking for TOT funding. Whether we get it or not, that's up to the council. But the second thing I did was attended, the heck was it called? Oh, Kids Fun Day. There was roughly 3,000 kids in attendance. I shouldn't say just kids, 3,000 parents and kids. Who would want 3,000 kids by themselves? That would be insane. But we entertained them for 4 hours between bounce houses, music, magic show, face painting. There was over 40 to 45 vendors present that made resources available to the public. And that public came from McLeod, Dunsmuir, Wairika, Montague, and Weed. So we did bring in a lot of folks to experience the Bel Air Park and all we have to offer. And that's it. Oh, one more thing. I did attend the local transportation commission since somebody put my name in the hat. I found that I attended via Zoom, and if I want to vote, I got to attend in person. So we'll be doing that next time. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.
All right. Well, since our last council meeting, we had another quarterly town hall listening session where we got together with members of the community. Encourage everybody to join us in our next listening session in Q3. The purpose of this is to allow anyone in the community or the surrounding areas to come and sit down with the mayor, the city manager, and some of the staff members and share your input and ideas on how we can strategically move forward with the city and make things better in all of our different areas of community. It's been small attendance as our council meetings have been, but it's been growing and we've had a lot of good feedback. Everything from tiny houses to cleanup days to restoration projects. So it's really important that we get that feedback from the community so that, we're not making decisions in a vacuum. The other meeting that was attended was we had a leadership meeting here at City Hall after the all clear and the renovation was complete. Was stakeholders that were invited in by the city manager. We had religious leaders and the Chamber of Commerce, other nonprofit organizations from Weed and the surrounding areas. And one of the outcomes of many of the ideas discussed there is the Weed Chamber of Commerce will be hosting a cleanup day in cooperation with the city of Weed for Main Street. And that'll be happening in June. There'll be more information on the chamber website as well as hopefully on the city website. The idea is that we're going to get volunteer groups together to do cleanup from the Arch to the Mercantile. And the hope is that, in the past, we've had collaborations amongst organizations throughout the city, be it the Chamber or Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions Club, different religious organizations, and other nonprofits so that we can come together as a community and work for the betterment as a whole. And so thankful that the Chamber and the city are willing to come together to start this kickoff, that we can start doing these activities again. And so I'd like to encourage everybody to come down to the Visitor Center or come down to City Hall and get the information and come join us. There will be refreshments served and equipment, garbage bags and gloves and things like that. So appreciate that. Also, again, please attend the Lao New Year. Was able to go last year for the inaugural and it was an amazing time. As someone who lived in Asia, I had a little bit better insight to the culture, but it's always a lot to learn. It's great food, great people. So I encourage everybody to join that. And then also just a heads up that we have Carnivale coming up here in July. There is a huge amount of music selection, even more expanded from last year. Of course, the carnival and all the different vendors and activities. So it's a great time for people and we in the community to come together and have some fun. So, and that's all I have to report this month.
I forgot to mention something I could. Okay. I want to say too that I'm glad that we're back in these chambers and thank all the hard work everyone has done with it. And I know there's been good and bad and this and that, but we're all back in here. I'm glad that we're back in here. I like the new seating and it looks good. And it for me, it has a whole different smell than what I did smell for close to 20 years at Must it's gone. So anyway, I just wanted to say, I'm glad that we're back in here and all the hard work that's been done on it. I appreciate it. So thank everybody that's been involved in it. Thank you, guys.
Okay, next we have a presentation. Austin Browder from the Executive Director of the Siskiyou Humane Society is here with a presentation this evening. So, Austin, welcome again.
Yes, thank you. I don't need to introduce myself now. Um, So I was recently asked to give a presentation similar to this at the city of Mount Shasta. I figured I'd put the effort into building that presentation. I'd ask other cities if they would like me to present, and so thank you for adding me to your agenda tonight. Let's see, where's our? Oh, okay. Oh, good. You won't know what I'm talking about. My last one was supposed to be 10 minutes, so it ended up being 8 because I ended up talking really fast. So don't worry, I won't probably be even shorter than that. Sandra, how will I be changing the slides? How do I change the slides? You got it? Okay. Yep. Hey,
There you go.
all right. There's Piper. Okay, well, thank you. Yep, all right, appreciate it. At its core, our work at the Siskiyou Humane Society is about the people. Healthy, well-managed animal services contribute to safer neighborhoods and better quality of life for everyone in the community. This presentation is purely informational, and I'm here to provide some background on the work involved in animal services and why it matters to the people in the community.
Could you pull your mic down a little bit?
Yep, absolutely. How's that?
Up a little bit.
More? Okay. Next slide.
That's deaf
Thanks.
people.
Oh, okay. Well,
Have to learn
thank
to
you.
sign.
Our role spans both prevention and resolution. On the prevention side, that includes spay and neuter programs, pet food support, which helps reduce the number of animals requiring intervention in the first place. We also house cats that have no other placement options and work towards long-term outcomes. For dogs, we assist with transfers out and owner surrenders when animals cannot be kept by their owners. From intake forward, we provide daily care, medical support, and follow-through until each situation is resolved, keeping these matters from becoming larger community concerns. Next slide. Uh-oh. Okay. It looks good, it's just moved up a little bit. But so California law establishes specific obligations as an animal enters into our system. These include holding periods, daily care, monitoring, and medical attention. These are also requirements around documentation, owner identification, and defined processes before any final outcome can be determined. All of this takes time, space, and consistent follow-through. Next slide. Day to day, this work is hands-on. It starts with intake, bringing animals in and getting them safely housed. From there, it is daily care, feeding, cleaning, monitoring, and making sure each animal is stable and accounted for. There is also ongoing medical care, vaccinations, identification, efforts, and outreach. Each animal remains in our care until it reaches a defined outcome, whether that is a return, transfer, or placement. While the work is centered on animals, the broader effect is on the people and neighborhoods around them. Resolved situations mean fewer ongoing disruptions. Next slide. I'm not sure if everybody can read that. I'd be happy to provide that information later on, but this slide is just showing our overall activity across the county from last year. Let's see, on there we have one that I'm very proud of that we've already reached this year is 300 spay and neuter vouchers across the county. But up there we have all of our intakes and outcomes of cats and dogs and their length of stay, as well as how much pet food we've given out. So whenever we're ready and we can go to the next one. All right. So a portion of our animals in our care do come from the city of Weed. Approximately 40 cats and 20 dogs in 2025 came from the city of Weed. I mention this simply as a context to geographic scope of our work. These are owner surrenders and also transfers from the animal care facility. Thank you, Ryan. But yes, we also take in owner surrenders from other situations. So we've had a few of those last year. Next slide. Much of our work occurs before situations escalate. Spay and neuter programs, pet food assistance, and public outreach all help reduce the number of animals that end up loose, abandoned, and in need of an intervention. These are situations that tend to take the most time once they develop, so when that work happens early, it limits how often they show up at all. Early prevention limits repeat situations and ultimately means fewer disruptions to the people living in the community. Next slide. If I'm going too fast and you're not able to read the slides, welcome to tell me to slow down. Okay, so this next slide outlines our baseline operating requirements, staffing, facilities, utilities, insurance, and medical care. Insurance, that may be even a little bit low. This year, housing dogs in general has gone up in the state, so dog housing is not cheap insurance. So these costs exist regardless of our animal volume. This is the bare minimum, the base floor minimum for running our facility. If we had 1 dog and 1 cat per year, our actual numbers are much higher than that. In the bottom, I have an asterisk for our approximate operating cost last year. And next slide. This is a general overview of the types of services that we are equipped to provide for the community. The scope can vary by community. Some emphasize care, others prevention and coordination. Broader investment in these areas tends to reduce the frequency and severity of situations over time. Next slide. Oh, we're missing some things again. Animal services must function consistently, not just as at intake, but all the way through an outcome. In most communities, that is handled through some combination of local resources and outside support. How it is structured can vary quite a bit, but one constant is that it needs enough capacity to function reliably. And I'm just going to close now on our next slide. At the end of the day, this comes back to the people. When animal situations are handled consistently, they resolve and move on. When they are not, they remain visible and demand more time and attention from everybody involved. That consistency is what keeps the community stable. And then if anybody here would like to have a visit or a tour of our facility, you're welcome to approach me afterwards. I will stay here, and I'm happy to give out my cell phone as well for anybody up here that is interested in reaching out to me directly. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin.
Appreciate it.
All right. Now we'll move on to our consent agenda. And we'll go through the items and then discuss. Item A, by motion, council will consider adopting resolution number 18-2026, authorizing the 2026-2027 claim against the local transportation fund. Item B, by motion, council will consider resolution number 19-2026, approving a 24-hour stipend for volunteer firefighters. Item C, by motion, council will consider resolution number 20-2026, adopting amended master fee schedule, decrease in residential re-roof fees. Item D, by motion, council will consider resolution number 21-2026, adopting the City of Weed lien policy. Item E, by motion, council will consider approving city manager's repayment agreement. Item F, by motion, council will consider approving amendment number 1 to the employment agreement for the city manager. Item G, by motion, council will consider approving resolution number 23-2026, authorizing the city manager to execute a task order proposal with Pace Engineering for Main Street demolition and bid support services in the amount of $58,000. Item G, city clerk, by motion, council will consider approval of the April 9th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Item H, by motion, council will consider approving payment warrants dated April 8th, 2026 through May 6th of 2026, including any voided warrants and manual issued items totaling $605,959.49. And item I, by motion, council will consider approval and filing of the end-of-month report for April 2026.
I have one, I don't know about pulling it off of there or not, but the one with the stipend for the fire department. The chief's not here to answer any questions on it, but
He wrote a.
he did not on that part, he did. I just saw it say it's $5,000 a year. So I want to know how many volunteers do we have?
I would
Are they-
suggest that we,
Yeah, in order to discuss it, it
yeah,
does have
I
to be removed.
would suggest that we remove it, move it to
Just,
regular
I was
business.
asked to table at least until next month. I don't think it's gonna matter, but we don't have
First, we
to,
have to
but
remove it, Mark.
Yeah, so I think first is we remove it from consent.
Okay,
And
I
then
just
we can
want more
discuss it
information.
on regular business.
thank you.
Okay. Any other items the council would like to remove from consent?
Did we read them?
You did.
Before you ask for public comment or take final action, for items E and F on your consent calendar, the Brown Act requires an oral report and summary of any recommendation for final action affecting compensation paid to a local agency executive. So I can give that summary briefly. With these two items that are recommended for approval, the city manager will no longer be provided a flat $400 monthly automobile allowance and will instead request reimbursement of eligible travel expenses consistent with the expense reimbursement benefit provided to other city department heads. The city council may also authorize the city manager to use a city-owned vehicle for the conduct of his official duties. And the repayment agreement will result in the city manager receiving $172.06 less per paycheck for 13 pay periods. All other terms of employment, compensation, and benefits are to remain the same.
So does she want us to remove those?
No, she's just giving the summary. Is there any way we can up her audio a bit? Okay,
Can't hear anything she said.
I can provide a copy too that can be put in your minutes.
perfect.
With that said, I'll make a motion to accept the agenda and remove item number, which one was pages? D?
B is in boy.
B is in boy.
Public
Removing
comment.
item B.
Is there any public comment?
Okay, before we move on with the motion, is there any public comment on the consent agenda? No, I'm just excited we have a public tonight.
I would just request that whenever minutes are prepared, it looks like there's 2 letter Gs on our consent agenda.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
All right, I will second the motion to approve the consent with item B removed to regular council business and with the corrections for the duplicate Gs. Do you have any
Second.
further discussion?
Yeah, I would also want to remove, just leave it as is. I'll talk about it later. Okay, I'll talk with the city manager about it. Okay, just, yeah, okay.
Okay, council, any other considerations?
I'm just
No, I'm good. I'll
curious
second it.
what Ken's question is.
I just wanted to remove B, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries to approve consent with the exception of item B. That'll be held under council business. And now that we're through with consent, move on to council business. Let's start with item B from the consent. So item B was, by motion, council will consider resolution number 19-2026, approving a 24-hour stipend for volunteer firefighters. Since our fire chief could not be with us tonight, I will lean on the city manager to give us a staff report on that item.
Based on my conversation with them Tuesday, it's just hard to get volunteers. Getting volunteers is part of his full-time job. They're usually going to Reading. They're usually trying to go around people along in city, trying to get volunteers and part-time people to work. He just did, from what he's professing to me, it's just hard. So he's trying to come up with new strategies to try to attract more volunteers.
So my understanding from reading the materials that were sent out publicly last week, the fiscal impact of that stipend is a total of $5,000 per year to the city, not per firefighter. Is that correct?
That's what I'm seeing here.
Okay.
That's what I read.
So it's like a 24 hours, so it said $50 for 24 hours.
Yes, that's how I read it.
So what I'm asking is, how many volunteers do we have? We have sleepers. And so they get paid if they,
It says here we have 3 resident firefighters and 1 volunteer.
right, and there's, that's all we have is 1 volunteer?
That's correct.
Currently, yes.
And usually
I
most,
thought we had more than that. So that's what I'm trying to figure, because then, it's $50. It sounds like it's, am I reading it wrong? Is it $50 for every time they go on a call and not 12?
No, it's $50 to stay on call.
I can comment on that. So it's 50 and he would like to do away with the $12 per call. That was what they were previously paying. And just move to $50 per 24-hour period, no matter how many calls they go on. If they go on 0, they get 50 because they're there on call. If they go on 5 calls, they still get 50. The goal is to have 2 volunteers at a time for a total of $100 a day, but it doesn't happen all year long. During the winter months, there's just times of the year when they're not fully staffed with volunteers. So it's not going to be for the entire year. And the $5,000 impact is also questionable because we were already paying an amount for the $12 per call. So that essentially is pretty much going to go away and be replaced by this.
The way the resolution is written, though, if I'm reading it correctly, is there is nothing to cap how many volunteers are put on at any given time, and nothing to cap it at $5,000. Is that an accurate understanding?
there is not currently a cap as far as I can see.
That was not the understanding I had from my conversation with Chief Carter today. His goal was to have two per day maximum, be earning the $50 per 24-hour period. But there will be times that there may not be any volunteers during certain times of the year.
So it sounds like our goal is 2 per day, which would be a cap, but unfortunately, we only have 1 total at the current time.
At this time, correct.
And that's something that I have noticed from fire protection, along with just volunteerism in general in the last decade or so, is that people just don't volunteer anymore like they used to. So,
No. And what he's had to do is between the 2 LTs and him to fill in that second person. Part of that 2-person requirement is a safety requirement for when they go out on a call. And so a lot of times they've been using their salaried positions to fill in for that
So
second.
my question though, what has changed since he became chief and since the other one went away?
Not much outside of,
But was there a problem prior to that? I'm just looking at money wise of spending.
I can, as the former acting, I can say there was a problem staffing before. This is an ongoing problem. This is an idea he came up with to try to relieve that problem.
Well, I don't want to throw out any names, but I know there were a lot of volunteers before this.
Yeah, but that was more than several years ago.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is
What
not a
I'm-
problem that's recently arose during the time.
So the
frame.
volunteers that were there prior to the last chief,
Right.
those are all gone?
The
I'm
question
not talking
posed,
about sleepers, I'm talking about people that work for CDF that are still volunteers here.
no, but they're taking their off time they're still helping. I see them. They're filling in for
Do they get
vacations.
the $50 if that's what I'm asking?
That's a question to the finance director.
If it's for a 24-hour period, yes, they would
That's my
get
point.
the $50. And he's basically trying to adopt a model that other volunteer departments have adopted, including Wairika, just to make volunteering a little more attractive.
yes.
Okay.
Volunteering has changed considerably, especially in the fire departments with training, certificates, skill sets. So,
I'm just asking.
I know, I'm
asking
just saying
because
that,
From the $12 to $50, that's a jump to me, period.
Well,
not if they
Mark,
took,
if I
went
could-
on 3 calls.
if I can unwind it, is your concern that there might be some double dipping involved?
Well, I don't want to say that. I'm just thinking you might have more volunteers all of a sudden.
Well, I
Well,
think that's the point, is
that's
that
the-
we want more volunteers to
Well,
join.
but I don't know about that. I
Well,
think they do just fine.
well,
All the things that have happened around here in the city, we've had outside agencies that are here like that. So I'm not saying we don't want to do it. I just wanted more clarification on what's going on here. I mean,
Can I go back to this?
I don't know how many calls they go on per day. I mean,
I can get that
they
information
could-
for
Well,
you.
a call could be this and then they get canceled, but that's a call.
But they also might get a call, and we used to call it the Amador plan, which is shared services. I don't know if they still call it Amador anymore, but so if there's a call in and they need assistance in Dunsmuir or McLeod, we need to show up like they show up.
Well, we
for
should.
us. Okay,
It's an agency. That's what we do.
so we have to have people on staff in order to meet those
We do have
requirements
people
too.
on staff, kid.
I just don't, according to our chief, it's a suspected $5,000 annual increase total. Is that right? Projected.
Yeah, I think we need to run those numbers. We talked a little bit about that today, and we don't really think that it's going to be a $5,000 increase because it's going to be offset by, we're no longer giving the $12 per call. And I do think, there needs to be a cap because clearly you can't have 10 volunteers all making $50 in a 24-hour period. So I think that maybe that needs to be specified. But I would like to really kind of nail those numbers down a little bit more. I don't think a $5,000 increase is really accurate.
And I
To me,
think
that's a
that
big
the goal is just to make sure we have 2 staffing on standby. So
I know how to, I know how to,
I think
Right,
after a
fix that
couple of
problem.
months, we'd be able to figure out if this is going to work or not work and move from there.
have our own fire department, like I've been saying since I sat in this chair 4 years ago, but that would solve all the problems.
Okay, so my clarification would be from city manager. The fire chief is now directly under your command, correct?
that is correct.
And so if you dictate to the fire chief that you cannot have more than 2 volunteers signed up for this 24-hour period, that doesn't require a resolution from us, right? That's just management by the city manager?
Perfect.
That's one way to do it, yeah.
That was my question. So right now, we only have 1 volunteer.
That is correct. And 2 lieutenants, 1 chief, and I think 2 or 3 seasonals, or 2 or 3 part-time or whatever.
2 lieutenants?
So if our direction to you is, it is not to exceed 2 on-calls until we can determine the fiscal impact, then there wouldn't be a need to change the resolution itself.
No,
I don't know about rest of council, but I'm comfortable with that as long as our city manager knows that budget constraint.
Well,
Good with that?
somebody who's seen what happens when we lose volunteers, and for a city who's been through as many fire tragedies that we have had, hearing that $5,000 is a worst-case scenario, I'm happy to pay that, to ensure that we don't have a tragedy where it's mismanaged because we don't have volunteers and we end up losing more than a few structures. Because I've been through the Bulls fire, the Mill fire, and the Main fire.
All too.
And, fortunate to have not lost my Homer business in either of those, but, that's only because we had, the strength of the fire department and agencies that,
I'm not dogging the
Support
fire
us.
department. I'm not making a negative against that fire department. I'm looking at, it just didn't make sense to me.
right.
It's something I'm questioning. I'm going from $12 to $5,000. And I don't care how you look at it, that's a big jump.
Well, I think what Jill's saying is we don't She doesn't
Yeah,
have the
right.
exact number of what we've done.
It doesn't have to be, but 5,000, it's a lot for me.
I'm comfortable that the city manager and the fiscal
here.
person
Same here.
know that we're concerned about the budget increase. I agree with Daryl, $5,000 is a drop in the bucket when we're looking at the safety of our community. I would also put in there that we do have CAL FIRE right here. And quite frankly, there are very few fires that I have seen where CAL FIRE is not on top of it with our agency. Nonetheless, we should encourage volunteerism, especially community-centered volunteerism. So I think I have my questions answered.
I'm good with that.
Well, and I will say that the two strike teams that saved my personal residence during the Bulls fire were both volunteer teams that came from out of the area. And as someone who served with them for 15 years, I'm all for, if $12 to $50 can support our volunteers to continue doing the great work they do, then that's a small price to pay. And I am also confident in our city manager's leadership ability to make sure that there's no fiscal overrun, that it will come back to council if there's any concerns in the future.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to pass it.
With the stipulation of 2 max.
I think,
Well, first
think
I'd
we
like to see if there's any public comment before we take an official vote.
Alonzo Green, in support of the fire department, and I hope this clarifies a little bit. I've been that one volunteer, trying to make everything happen over there. And as a volunteer, you've still got the sense of pride. We at Weed Fire, we were trying to get to every call before CAL FIRE. So the people over there, I think it's worth 5,000 because eventually there's going to be more volunteers, and you cannot send your engine out of the city to help somebody and leave the city uncovered.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
now we're going to have more volunteers, right? Because we're helping them. We're trying to be efficient. And people from the rescue don't jump on an engine, right? So they're already have positions, and we've got to have more volunteers. I think that's great for them. When we get a bunch of guys there with pride, I was there during some times when there were so many volunteers, that sometimes you just couldn't go because volunteers were going to the calls. I'd love to see it return to that. And I'm all for, with my other hat, the Historic Lincoln Heights, I'm all for helping and see if we can start some sort of program that gets kids from elementary and high school to start to be little cadets, to help us try to grow our own department that has its own pride and it takes care of its own community. For years, I had people telling me they were so glad to see me, not because I was doing such a great job, but it was somebody from the community. During those times, you're nervous, you're scared, it's an emergency, something's going bad. And to have somebody that you know from the community come up to you and say, hey, we got this. We're going to do everything we can do. I think that's important. But that's my comment. Thank you.
We already had it passed.
Oh, I didn't. There is, I promise you, I'm going to try to get everyone after this.
All right, do we have any other public comment?
My name is Austin Browder. I'd like to speak about the fire department here in Weed. I'm actually a volunteer for the fire department in McLeod. I'm an ambulance driver, a bit different than a firefighter, but what really attracted me to doing volunteerism with them wasn't so much the money. It was so much, because it's $10 there per call for us, but really it was the fact that they were willing to be flexible with me on my timing. They do want a 24-hour shift. They want me to be on call for that, but I do have a full-time job that I can't always do 24-hour shifts for them. So they will let me fill in 6 hours and 12 hours. I know that may be different for the fire, it may be hard for them to do, but that's what made it a bit more appealing for me. Just throwing that out there.
Thank you.
Maybe, Destin, you can bring up with the chief, maybe splitting a 24-hour for a solid $50.
Do we
So
have,
that we can have some volunteers that are full-time workers.
We used to have them,
all right. Do we have any other public comment?
fire department.
All right. There is no further public comment.
You want to make an official motion, or Mark did that?
I did it.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for Resolution 19, 2026, approving the 24-hour stipend for volunteer firefighters, not to exceed 2 per, and will be governed by our city manager. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, move on to council business. Item A, administration. By motion, council will consider resolution number 22-2026, establishing the Cannabis Ad Hoc Advisory Committee and appoint 2 council members.
I'm going to defer to our attorney, Mr. Parham.
Oh, certainly. Can you hear me okay? Do I need to yell?
Oh, yeah, you're loud and clear now. Excellent.
Now I'm too loud? Okay, great. Well, at the last meeting, you all received a report or a summary of current regulations in the city. We were directed to prepare a resolution and come back with that resolution to form an ad hoc committee. So 2 of you can explore options for updating the city's current regulations. This resolution accomplishes that. If you all would like to select 2 council members to appoint to this committee and then adopt this resolution, you will have created this temporary ad hoc committee that will disband upon providing a final recommendation of any updates and changes to you all as the council as a whole.
Excellent. Do we have any volunteers from the council for the ad hoc committee?
I'll do it.
Okay, we have 1 volunteer. Councilmember Wetstein, do you have a second?
How many meetings are we talking about?
Many as we need to get it done.
Come on, Ken.
I
You know my
You
schedule.
my-
It won't be every
If I show
day.
you my schedule, it's worse than yours, probably. Yes, provided, are we going to be appointing members from the community as well? Is that part of it, or just?
No, if members beyond just 2 council members are added to this committee, it'll be a Brown Act body. That can be done, but I should revise this resolution then at that point to provide for that.
Yeah, so this would be 2 council members and staff.
Okay. All right, I'll go. First meeting's tomorrow.
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
All right, well, we have 2 council member volunteers who are both well qualified. I will make a motion to accept the appointments of Mayor Pro Tem Palfini and Councilmember Wetstein to the ad hoc committee.
Oh, we need a second on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any public comment before we take our vote on the ad hoc committee formation? No, seeing as there is none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we're moving on to item B, Building Department. By motion, council will consider introduction and first reading by title only of ordinance number 491-2026, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Weed, California, amending section 14.04.230 of chapter 14.04 Water System of Title 14 Public Services regarding water services to vacated of condemned building and repealing and replacing sections 16.04.010, 16.04.020, 16.04.021, 16.04.060, 16.04.070, 16.04.100, 16.04.120, 16.04.140, and Chapter 16.04 Construction Codes of Title 16 Buildings and Construction of the Weed Municipal Code to adopt by reference the California Code of Regulations, Title 24, 2025 edition of the California Building Standards Code, including the following parts. Part 1, California Administrative Code. Part 2, California Building Code, including listed appendix chapters. Part 2.5, California Residential Code, including listed appendix chapters. Part 3, California Electrical Code. Part 4, California Mechanical Code, including listed appendix chapters. Part 5, California Plumbing Code, including listed appendix chapters. Part 6, California Energy Code. Part 7, California Wildland Urban Interface Code. Part 8, California Historical Building Code. Part 9, California Fire Code, including listed appendix chapters. Part 10, California Existing Building Code. Part 11, California Green Building Standards Code. And Part 12, California Reference Standards Code. We'll move on now to the staff report.
Well done.
Break.
I want to thank the staff. There's been multiple people who have helped me accomplish this, including the attorney, including Mike Britton, who's our building inspector, including Chief Carter, including both of our city attorneys. They have all contributed and helped make this possible. Part of my vision of proposing this to council is not just for the attorney fees, but also for the fact that I am trying to make doing business in weed better. When you go through the code and you have multiple different versions from multiple different eras, and not only does Chris and Mike have fun and the police department have fun enforcing it, but it makes it confusing for the people who want to build here. Over the last 8 months, we've had a couple of back and forths with some builders and residents and stuff because of that confusion, which kind of inspired me to go down this road. But this is a culmination of about 3 months of a lot of work from our staff, and thanks to our typing and putting that long verbiage together, and you're reading it. I really think that this is a key to taking weed to the next level, is making it easier to do business with, because a lot of people do look at our code, a lot of potential investors, a lot of potential business leaders do look at our code, and one of the first things they see is if it's not easy to read, or if they're looking for requirements or fees and all that, the little things we're doing, make a big difference. The fee schedule, making sure it's up to date, like we did today, because of one of my typos, or making sure the building code is up to date. I think that's a part of what I can do to help you get to the next level and improve people doing business with us, because they'll go to their website, and especially self-starters, go to our website and read the code and read our policies and stuff, and if it's hard to read, it could be the difference between someone choosing weed and someone not. So the little things we can do, just the little incremental changes that we can make over time will make it a lot better. So thank you.
All right, well, we definitely want it to be easy for investment, whether it's a residential home or a large, commercial setup. So, do we have any public comment on this lengthy building code update? Council members, do we have any questions for staff?
Dustin, can you clarify, other than the one change that I saw in water service to vacated or condemned buildings, was there any major changes to any of this code in the reorganization?
We're just, the first part is we're adopting the latest California codes for Title 24 and 25, but there's also some updates embedded with that. Recently, we ran into an issue where I had to turn on water to someone's house, it was condemned. And this does add language to allow staff the ability to stop that, because we don't want to encourage somebody living in a house that's already red tagged. So that's one of the problems we wanted to solve. The other problem that we wanted to solve with this too was there was we had an ongoing dispute with somebody over sprinklers. And our fire chief recommends sprinklers, but there was not language that we could find. There was some conflicting language in statute that made it really difficult to back his recommendations. So there is also language in there adding, lining our code up with his recommendations for new builds, especially when it comes to manufactured homes.
Is there any substantial difference between what we're instituting in the city versus county regulations?
I don't know about county. I was mainly focused on the city. Do you know if there is a difference between county and city?
I guess I can more direct my question is any of these changes in these codes that we are now making make it more difficult for somebody to build in the city of Weed than in the county of Siskiyou?
I don't know. That's an open-ended question.
County. I would look, if I could, just 1 second, look at Part 6, California Energy Code as a
Yep.
potential. And I didn't read it in its entirety. But I think when we went through the mill fire, there was differences in the building codes regarding solar energy, regarding window insulation. And I think electric vehicle plugins, or at least making it available on that structure. That's kind of, well, we had some adopted plans. That was an issue. That was a little bit of a struggle because county was a little bit different than state.
Generally.
City was following state.
I see. Generally speaking, cities are usually a little more restrictive than counties usually are, just by the nature of cities. I can't speak to your specific question because I'd have to look at the counties, and I'm not a construction professional. All I was attempting to do with this move is just listen to the staff, implement the recommendations, and make sure that we adopted the latest Title 24 and Title 25, and remove some of the confusion of references within the building code.
So,
I'd note here too that the only change that goes above and beyond what state law requires the county to adopt itself is the sprinkler requirement in new manufactured homes. So to the extent the county has any differing regulations beyond that, they would be more restrictive because we are taking the state law as the floor. We've added one specific section about fire sprinklers. And other than that, we are doing what the state law requires us already to enforce and incorporating that into our code.
So,
A quick AI search says Siskiyou County has adopted the California Code of Regulations, Title 24.
so basically what I'm hearing is that we're clarifying the code to make it easier for developers and make it cheaper for developers because they're not having to hire attorneys to translate multiple different variations. And California requires us to do this anyway. So really, we're doing what we have to do. We're just making it easier and simpler to accomplish. Is that?
Mr. Mayor, I think Chris said, or,
I think you said Sandy answered it.
oh, okay.
see, last thing I heard is that they were still using 2008 codes.
That was the discussion that you were talking about. When the county proposed,
Was different.
Rolling back for the
Yep.
mill fire, yes.
Yep.
So obviously changing this is, I don't have an objection to changing it. I would like to be informed as far as a council member, if there is anything that would cause a person to be more likely to build in the county versus our city. And I think it probably is a simple question for our building department. They'll probably know the answer off the top of their head. And it doesn't need to be pinpoint to a location. I'm just curious about what aspects would make it more difficult to
Well,
build here.
That's an open-ended question because there's certain trade-offs that you make moving to the city that some people would rather move to the county. You know, like take water, for example. I'm not an expert in buildings, so I'm going to avoid that. But, you know, some people like the freedom of living on a county road where they have a lot more say-so in how they build their lots. They don't have as many lot restrictions. They have bigger lots. But the trade-off is they also have to pay for their own water system, their own septic, and all that stuff. So whereas in a city, the conditions are different because when we are all living together in closer quarters, there's a natural inclination for a little more structure.
I understand that. I think more directed in my question is, for instance, I am concerned living in the community that we have where socioeconomics are the way they are. Are we creating a problem for somebody putting an ADU on their property that does not exist in county? For instance, are we requiring them to put sprinklers in an ADU that is above and beyond what is in county? Are we requiring, I hear already that in manufactured homes, it sounds like we are taking a different course than the county. So I just want to know the limits that we are putting on for individuals to create on their own residence the most affordable housing structures that we have available. And so it's more concentrated on that. I get that there's this trade-off and that people have to make those decisions. What I don't want to do is foreclose individuals within our community to do things such as ADUs or more affordable housing if we're going above and beyond which is necessary for the county. And it's more about being informed about it so that we can later make a determination, or I can petition to be able to put something on or change the resolution. But to me, that's important to make sure that we're not foreclosing those areas for members of our community.
I 100% understand what you're saying, so you don't want to overregulate to the point where you make it more expensive than not. We're just adopting what the state has already passed already, like she said, outside of the sprinkler requirement. And you could go either way on that one too. If if you don't have, like the city I came from before I came here, they didn't hardly have any regulations, and that had its own set of problems. I don't know where that balance that you're referring to is. I was just simply trying to clean up the code. And the problem is if I leave it alone, it won't make people worse off per se, but it's also more confusing and might scare other investors away too. I don't know where you draw that line.
Yeah, I understand it. I appreciate that, but
Yep.
my personal view is sometimes overregulation is not the greatest thing ever. So I would just like to be informed about
Yeah.
it. I appreciate the work that was done on it. I think it needs to be cleaned up. We've obviously are going to have some great investment opportunities, and having a clean building code and what our requirements are is exceptionally important to the city. I just don't want to create roadblocks that don't need to exist.
I agree, and that's what I'm ultimately trying to accomplish with you. We share in the same vision, because the harder we are to work with, the more barriers we have to investment. I agree with you.
Is there potentially a suggestion that we kind of look at those differences, maybe have the building inspector review and then at least give us
Yeah.
a side by side a little bit?
I even just think an email through Dustin from the building. I think our building inspector is going to know those major differences.
Absolutely.
I'd just like to be aware of what they are.
Okay.
And if anything rears its head as being just completely,
So do we want to pass this or do we want to wait to amend if potentially there might be?
I think I am comfortable with passing it as long as I know that if we are going to be informed about those things and we have issues, then we can later move to
I
amend.
just didn't want Daryl to have to read the whole thing again.
That's right.
So did
I have a
you,
voice
so
radio.
If I may, Mackenzie, correct me if I am wrong. This is first reading and introduction. Second reading will be held as a public hearing. So,
Yes, that I was took the words out of my mouth, Sandy. This will be coming back again
Yes, this
to
will be
Okay.
coming back
Said
to
that
second
right
reading
first.
as a
Yeah.
public hearing, so there will be time and we can make sure that the building inspector is here to give, comment during the public hearing.
Great.
Well,
That's a
as,
good
as
idea.
far as to your
Thank you,
comments
Sandy.
on weed versus the county, while the people who choose to build in Lake Shastina or Hammond Ranch or other surrounding communities tend to use Weed Municipal Services at our dime, they're not clamoring to come build next to our houses here in Weed. So I don't really have a big concern with that. That's a different set of issues. Having a clean building code for contractors and developers, as well as not having to have a legal battle with the state of California over the law. I think for our first reading, I think that I would encourage us to move forward, and then we can have the building inspector at the public hearing to go over specific questions, and we'll pack snacks because it'll be a late night.
I hear you. I want to make it clear. My concern is that we have people invested in properties here, and changing this building code is going to affect their rights on their current properties. And that's my concern, because I don't want to take that away from people who have already chosen to invest in the city of Weed. For instance, we're in desperate need for ADUs. We have properties that can have ADUs. If we're infringing upon a right of somebody who already owns property, that's what my concern and my focus of my question is. So I
Okay, so we
appreciate
can
that.
bring those back at second reading.
Absolutely.
I'll make a motion to read the ordinance number 491-2026 at its first reading. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Weed, California, amending section 14.04.230 of chapter 1404, Water System, or Title 14, Public Services, regarding water services to vacated or condemned properties, and repealing and replacing sections 160410, 160420, 160421, 160460, 160470, 1604 100, 1604 120, 1604 140 of chapter 1604 construction codes of Title 16 buildings and construction of the Weed Municipal Code, to adopt by reference the California Code of Regulations Title 24, 2025, edition of the California Building Standard Code, including the following parts.
You don't have to read the
1,
entirety.
2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever they are.
I second if I don't have
Short
to,
version.
I second if I don't have to read it.
Do we have any public comment on this item? Any further questions from council?
I'm good.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to item C. Administration by motion, council will consider approval and issuance of a special animal permit to Chad Lorraine, authorizing the keeping of more than 8 hens at 289 Oregon Street pursuant to Weed Municipal Code Section 6.13.040. So I'll let the staff introduce, and then we'll hear from the
So we recommend that the city council approve a special animal permit allowing up to 18 chickens at a residential property for Mr. Chad Lorraine, subject to specific conditions recommended by me and after my discussions with our code enforcement officer pursuant to section 3.13.040 of the Weed Municipal Code. Mr. Lorraine has maintained chickens within the city since approximately 2021 without any prior complaints or documented nuisance conditions. In March of 2026, he contacted the city regarding animal regulations and was informed that he needed a special permit from council. He submitted a permit application at the time of the inspection. The property contained 18 chickens, which obviously exceeded the limit of 8.
6.
Is it 6?
Change to 8.
It was changed to 8. It's been 8 since I've been working.
Because I'm looking at the meeting code right now, it says 4 to 6.
All right, well,
18?
either way, it's more than 6.
It's more
And,
than 6, more than 8.
And so, Permits issued without special conditions may be approved administratively. However, when the conditions are imposed, directs me to give you a recommendation, and basically I'm going along with what our staff, what he recommends. If I missed anything, please. So anyway, we've evaluated the requests based on their compliance history, site conditions, and the absence of substantiated complaints related to the noise, odor, and public nuisance. Given that the current number of chickens exceeds the standard limit, we recommend approval of the permit with specific conditions to ensure a structured enforceable path forward toward compliance. We propose allowing the existing flock of 18 chickens remain temporarily. No replacement of chickens shall occur until the total number is 6 or fewer. Any substantiated complaints related to noise, odor, nuisance, or public health and safety shall require immediate reduction to below 6, which is specified in the code. Failure to comply with these conditions will result in enforcement action pursuant to the provisions already laid out in the code.
We talking stew?
But I don't, he's already talked with the owner, and the owner has agreed to allow the flock to naturally.
How are the neighbors? I drove by the lot, so there's not a ton of neighbors, definitely.
We have, the neighbors are quiet because they don't want attention. We deal with the neighbors are more of a problem than the chickens.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you kid. I get it.
So in other words, you need to go around every day and ask them about the chickens? No.
They recently had a couple people leave the residence, so hopefully things are quieter, so.
Everybody's quiet then. The chickens have a purpose.
So my question is, oh, go ahead, Pat.
Chicken free range on the street, or they're?
No. It's chain link.
We have, it's never been brought to our attention. Something like that would have been brought to our attention, as has been the case in other parts of town, in which we've had to push for application, permit, and compliance.
So does that mean now everybody can have 18 chickens or more?
No, that we're asking for special permission because normally we require them to have 6 or less.
Special condition and as they go, not to be replaced.
That is correct.
So we've had issues in the past with dogs and cougars and bobcats and even pot-bellied pigs that were allegedly uncontrolled. And we have an applicant with 18 chickens that's never had a single complaint or finding. That's pretty stellar if you can manage 18 chickens without a single complaint, whereas some people can't manage a single dog or cat.
Excuse me.
Some context in terms of the 18 chickens specifically. He originally owned 9, and then those chickens were beginning to age out, so he purchased another 9 to replace those chickens. They were all around 3 months of age when I did my inspection. So they are going to be close to phasing out if they don't get picked off by our local wildlife, as does happen in this area.
And chickens, typically hens lay less eggs.
Yes.
Older they get, correct?
They eventually stop laying. They eventually stop laying.
So this isn't a squad bay full of chickens. This is just
No.
a block of old chickens that they retire out.
Okay. All right.
Are these pets? I see a no and I see a no and a yes.
It's not for commercial purposes either.
Okay. Do you have, may I ask, do you have kids at home? No. Okay.
You get a lot
Is
of
is
eggs.
mom attached to these chickens? Do they have names?
Yes.
All right, there we go.
Through the chair, is the applicant here in the room?
They're here, yeah.
Okay, it is a quasi adjudicative process where the applicant should have a chance to speak to.
All right, well, if there's no other further staff reports, we'll hear from the applicant.
It was pretty much covered that before February, we had 9. And then shortly thereafter, we got an additional 9 to, as was mentioned, to replace the ones that were the older ones. And then I came to the police department to inquire about another ordinance issue. And speaking with Officer Ryan, he had mentioned special animal permit for chickens. And I thought, okay, I better look into this and make sure that I'm above board with everything. I want to be copacetic with the city.
Yeah.
I would like to
Definitely.
keep what we have, but understand that once it drops below the threshold of the 8 that is outlined, we're fine with that.
Well, I can appreciate not just the proper management of the animals, but the fact that you're coming forward to do the right thing, whereas we have some residents who do not. So that's much
It
appreciated.
is a larger parcel that
Just the
helps
fact
with
that he mentioned
situation.
copacetic was
So
okay
it's
with me.
not like the problem we had, the reason why we have the ordinance to begin with was a much smaller residence with a much smaller yard. So that does have some bearing on it.
And they do have their own fenced-in area.
And it's on a hillside too.
Yeah.
It's not 3 pit bulls and a 400 square foot upstairs
No.
apartment.
Thank you for being a responsible animal owner.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any public comment? No? Nobody wants to take a peck at it?
Yeah,
Terrible, but it was funny.
Ken was being quiet tonight, so I had to make up. Any comments from council?
good. I make a motion to accept the special permit, but if there's no objection.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we'll move on to item D, personnel. By motion, council will consider resolution number 24-2026, organizational restructuring of the building inspector position to under the administration department.
So, part of the building code update that I intended to solve was there were multiple references to a building official and throughout the code, but there was not a section for a building official to reference to. Well, that's part of what I wanted to solve as well, just cleaning up the language, structuring it the way I know that the code should be structured. And one of the discussions came up is that if with that, right now, I have been talking to Chris, talked to staff, and I've talked to y'all individually. Structurally, I just think it makes more sense. That's what a lot of other cities do. The building department is its own entity. So I am just simply making a recommendation as part of what you charged me with on how to reorganize the structure of the city in order to, it's an administrative position. He is enforcing rules either set by California or council, and it just makes more sense to have him under the as a department head. That's just the way I'm used to it running. I'm also sensitive to the budget discussion. I've talked to you all individually, and I know some of you are concerned about that, but I also want to reward staff for the hard work they do too. Mike Britton is a very capable building inspector. Him and I have navigated, and him and I and Chris, and all of us have navigated some pretty tough building questions over the 8 months I've been here. And I just want to commend the job that, y'all have spoiled me with a wonderful staff. Everyone here is competent, and it makes me feel a little inadequate because usually I'm used to doing 2 or 3 hats at once, and now I don't have to. So it's really nice and an adjustment at the same time. And Mike is one of those positions where I would stand by the fact that, he has earned his spot as a department head as far as I'm concerned. But I also understand the other side of the argument too. You know, it's not, I don't know how else to request it, budget or not, it's a risk. But, you know, we're all gonna have to make cuts anyway if what we're attempting to do doesn't go through. But I think Mike is worth the investment. But I also wanted to bring it to your attention. This is my recommendation. I think long-term, this is the best move organizationally, but like I said, with this approval does come a promotion for Mike. But I think he's earned it.
All right. Well, do we have any public comment? Our public is diminished, but I appreciate those of you that hung in there. Well, I say I have been on inspections with Mr. Britton since he's joined us as a building inspector personally and seen him in the field doing his work. And he's kept me informed with any questions I've had with potential issues around the community. While I understand there are some budget concerns, I think it is well deserved. He's certainly doing the job and going above and beyond. The structure makes sense with what I've seen from other cities in my research. And we'll be having more budget discussions here in the future. So that's something we'll have to address as a city. You know, we've made increases with wages in the last few years for staff members, department heads, and other areas. And to hold one person who's doing a job back because of concerns, I think would be inadequate compared to what we've done in the past with concerns to the budget. So that's my 2 cents on it, and I'm sure the rest of the council will have further discussion.
Was this position currently FLSA exempt?
No,
Okay, so that's one of the changes.
yes.
Well, my 2 cents are this. I have a lot of contact with contractors that are in the area, and I can say that they only have extremely positive things to say about Mr. Britton, and that he's made a positive change with interactions. The feedback that I get, whether good or bad or from the right places or wrong places, is that he is exceptional in knowing what is important and what is not, and that he strikes a balance with what's necessary in order to get things built. I think that does require administrative capabilities and discernment that is FLSA. I would also note that I believe that that's going to give us a comparative advantage, given the fact that we're going to have a lot of building in the city of Weed here recently. And not that I want to work him to death, but making him an exempt employee does bode well for the city. And the other thing that I would like to say is I'm also well aware of how much other cities are paying for contracted services, and we are getting exceptional work for every dollar that we are giving him versus contracted piecemealed work. And so for those reasons, I'm highly supportive of this.
Well, and for our audience members who remained and for the 7 people viewing at home, had we approved going to a contracted services that was brought before the council, I believe last year or the year before, we would have been spending over twice as much money for 6 hours a week of on-site service, whereas we are currently getting a full-time credentialed building inspector who is here in the building working with the rest of staff in our community to make things happen. And especially for Lincoln Heights, to see that we're able to move forward with construction and building homes, that's well worth it. So even though there will be a slight increase as a department head for the salary, we are still getting, 2 to 3 times, in my opinion, the service for less money than we would pay for a contractor who's not from our community.
I'm totally supportive of Mike. I think he does a great job. He's certainly very easy to communicate with, and as you know, trying to build something, I mean, it's a lot of question and back and forth, and I think he does an exceptional job at what he does, so I am fully supportive of Mike.
I'll just leave it at the fact that I know Mike a considerable time, but I find whenever you do question him, I can understand the answers. And for somebody like me, that's kind of, I'm not what you call the hands-on guy. I know the right end of the hammer. It's kind of leaves me about the end. So I'm in favor of putting this into position. Is pay scale in line with the rest of our staff? Okay. And then,
You would become a department head, so it would fall within that bracket.
okay.
Chris, you're still
I'll make
good
a
with it?
motion for the consideration of organizational restructuring of the building inspector position under the administration department. That's the first one.
Right.
Seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, we'll move on to item E, budget. Council will choose a date and time for the FY 26-27 budget workshop. That is going to be another exciting meeting. We have a lot of things to discuss. So I guess at this point, we're going to pull council for when we can make that meeting happen.
Yay, budget workshop.
So this will be a special meeting of the city. We'll include the full council and staff involved for the budget workshop and as well the public. And I do encourage people to come from the public. While we don't have the Vanna White presentations we had decades ago that were always fun to attend, it is important, I think, for the community to be involved in our budgeting process and understand the decisions we make and why we make them.
What time do we usually something like that?
Generally be an evening special meeting. We can do an afternoon. It's something that we just have to make sure it works for everyone's schedule, that everyone can be present.
I would request an evening, just because I anticipate that I'll be in trial through September.
I might be in jury duty soon. No.
Excellent. You can get back at me. No.
Yeah, can you get me out of that? No. No
Is
concept.
there a specific day of the week that works? I know everybody here has businesses and careers and family obligations, so is there a day of the week that works best for?
Well, I canceled my calendar here. What the heck?
Pat, is there a day of the week that's better for you?
We need our calendar back.
Well, now I take Thursdays off, so Thursday.
So Thursday? Well, it won't be the second Thursday because that's our council meeting.
If it's in the evening, I can do the third Thursday.
I have a question.
First.
Are we doing this differently from last year? Last year, we just did an ad hoc budget committee meeting with 2 members of council.
Yeah, so this will be an entire budget workshop. This will be with the full council.
Yeah, this is the workshops, the workshop that we did before. Some we've started at 10 o'clock in the morning, and usually we do those during the day. But if it doesn't fit in their schedules with trial and everything, we can move them. But we've done them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We've done them at 10 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
just to discuss budget. And then after that, when the budget, before the June council meeting is when you meet with the 2 the mayor and mayor pro tem.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
And I think one of the ways we can help expedite the meeting is to have staff send out to the council members, ahead of time, the items we're going to be going through, just to, we're not doing things from a first time, first seen basis. I think we're all very well versed in what's going on here. So it needs to happen before June 11th.
Wednesday. What's the Wednesday before June 11th?
I think Thursday was the best day for Pitt, so.
But if we're talking June 11th?
Well, no, June 11th is when we're having our next council meeting. So what about Thursday, the May 28th? Does that work for council members? Is that, you'll be gone? Are you here the 21st, next Thursday?
Could be.
Or,
So we have to do it before the next council meeting?
yes, ideally.
Which one?
But you're
Yeah,
gone.
I don't have.
The third or fourth Thursday.
I mean, if I miss it,
That's
it's all
cool.
right.
Would you be able to zoom in?
I can zoom in if I need to do it. I'm not positive. Just go ahead and set that date up.
Those are usually not recorded in Jeremy's, it's not under Jeremy's contract for work sessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pet, can you do the 21st?
No, if you can't, the 28th is fine. I may not be here though.
I gotta do,
Just give me your vote, I'll take it.
I'll probably see it.
Where's the mushroom festival?
Bob?
Oh, it's already coming up? I thought it was later in the year. All right, well, it sounds like the 28th.
Mushrooms have already been. I'm not. Yeah.
So
Isn't there toxic mushrooms now in Cal, anyway?
do we have a consensus for the 28th? Is there any way we could set up Zoom on a single laptop without having Jeremy
How about
here?
just call on the phone? How about just call on the phone?
Yeah, we can do that. Oh, you probably can't see.
Well, I'll let Dustin, he can figure that out. Yep.
Okay. Mackenzie, is that going to work for a special meeting if we have a council member phone in?
Mackenzie, this is a work session, not a special meeting, so, usually
If
the
there's-
attorney does not attend those either. But that's up to you.
Oh, yeah, well, if he's asking about teleconferencing rules, if there's no action being taken, it could be fine to just call in. If there is action being taken, some kind of consensus on how to move forward with the budget or something like that, then to participate and have your vote counted, you would need to have your camera on under the new teleconferencing rules. For just an informational study session where people are discussing, I think it's fine to participate remotely without camera on.
All right. So it sounds like we have a date of May 28th. Do we have a time?
You want to cheat on the evening thing.
How early are you available on the 28th?
How fast am I allowed to drive?
Readjust it.
I believe.
27 minutes to.
I believe I can make it here by 5:15, but I can't get it here before that.
Make it 5:30.
So 5:30? Because we don't want you to break any laws.
I won't break any laws, but I'll ask is to break trial at 4:30, which means I could be here by 5:15. I could do 5:30 as well, but I'm willing to do 5:15 if it's gonna assist moving things along.
I don't think it will make a difference at that point.
All right, 5:30, 28?
Yeah.
Here at City Hall?
Based on the information from council, I'll make a motion that we set the date for 5:30 on May 28th here in the council chambers.
Second.
Okay. Do we have any public comment? No? I hope to hear I hope you all bring friends on the 28th because we definitely need public comment for this one.
I'm gonna bring about 40. Just kidding.
All right.
What's Richard doing here tonight? I have just a question. Excuse me.
I haven't seen all of you guys in a long time. I thought I'd stop by.
You just wanted to visit.
I thought you went back to work.
Later on, so I'm glad that Earl is here, because he gave a report to the chamber.
Okay.
I think that one of our board members should be here at every meeting.
I
Are you
agree.
on the board?
Yeah, I am, man.
Well, I thought you retired, so I thought you became
All right.
unretired and you're back.
You know, I'm
So-
never retired. I don't think you can at this age. You just keep going and going. I mean, I think the members on the council up there that have been there a long time too.
Hey, careful.
All right.
My wife just winds this little button in the back, just turns it like that. And that's
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We now have a date and time. And that is the last of our agenda items. We'll now move on to staff reports. would our city manager like to give a staff report for the fire chief since he is absent? I know we got an email version sent out, and I hope everyone read it. I know I did.
I don't have it with me, but
Okay.
I can go get it.
Do we have any council members who did not get a chance to read the chief's report that need any information?
I think we're talking about this
I got it
one.
online here if somebody wants to.
No,
read
for
it.
fire.
Oh, for fire.
All right. So it looks like we're all informed of his report. We'll move on to Director Porterfield from Finance.
No report from me tonight, thanks.
All right. Director Davis from Public Works.
So we're doing quite a bit of cleanup off of the roadway up there on Mountain View Drive. We are asking permission from the homeowners. We're going about 5 feet off of the roadway. That's really to preserve our road and for fire safety, add an extra fire break. We will be working on Heritage Plaza in the upcoming months, in the upcoming month. And we're just continuing moving forward with grants.
Excellent. I will say that there has been a lot of feedback from the community about the work that Public Works is doing around City Hall, the library. People are noticing the work that your team's putting in, and it's very much appreciated. So, good job.
Thank you.
What are we doing on where are we at on the mitigation project?
That one I cannot tell you. That's Brian Carter's project.
I know, I was hoping that you were eavesdropping or working with him. Don't know. Okay.
Project?
No, I'm not.
Mastication.
Oh, mastication.
All right. Chief Mayberry, Weed Police Department.
To answer that, they're currently working in the South Weed area on the east side of the freeway.
Okay.
They are out there. We are patrolling the area to make sure that we try to keep any pedestrians or yesterday was a bicyclist out of the area while they're working, but that's where they currently are. There is some work being done on the, above the Gazelle tank. Yeah, you probably don't notice, it's a tiny little dot up there, but it's an excavator up there on top of the hill yesterday was working. Most people didn't even notice it. So they are currently working within the city limits. For the police department, April, we had 1,520 incidents, 598 calls for service, 32 cases, 14 arrests. I provided council with a hard copy of our 2025 annual report. PDF version is available through the City of Weed website. Anybody in the public can go on the website and access that PDF version. It's the same thing. It's just too expensive to print a bunch of copies and hand them out. So council's the ones that get those, and then everybody else can have a PDF one. I'd encourage anybody that hasn't seen it to go to the Weed High School Facebook page. One of their seniors organized every 15 minutes presentation, and it was very good. And it's one of the better ones I've seen. So anybody that hasn't seen that, please go to the Facebook page at Weed High School and view that.
Good job.
I forgot to mention that too, and for the fire department, I watched some of it on that website, and I remember we used to do those a lot when I was working here.
Yeah, I think the last one, when you were here, we did one in 2011, I believe it was,
It was a
2010.
big impact for parents and even those kids. So
Yeah.
that was a great job. That was good. I'm glad to see it back in revolving again and coming back. It's very important. So,
I would
yeah.
also mention if there is any contact by you, there is a significant amount of money. I can't remember, a state organization or the state of California is offering money for kids going to college. There's still a bundle left. In fact, they sent us, I think, Alturis's money because they were lacking to people that actually just applied. You get money if you go to college, okay. So that's a good thing. And
Is it through?
it's at the Weed Resource Center.
Okay,
Down-
I'll pass that on to
Richard.
Kelsey Oaks.
He's
She's
got a bunch of
spearheads
booklets
that for
and-
the high school, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Chief, I know I've asked you in the past, and it's probably because I'm operating off of like 4 hours of sleep. As far as asset forfeiture cases that we have, because I looked through your report, is the city of Weed making any collections on asset forfeiture?
So we have had some adjudicated cases, and that is placed into a fund that's under the observation of the finance director. We have sparingly used that. We're not looking for any major purchases right now, just because of the anticipated budget shortfalls. We're kind of hanging on to that, just as a precautionary.
Good idea.
There have been some smaller purchases, but again, it's, you know,
And mechanically, is it working smoothly with all the other organizations to make sure that adjudications are being reported?
I would say yes, but Jill's the one that has to work pretty hard to keep track of that. I mean, it's not difficult for me because I can say it's easy, but she does a very good job of keeping track of that for us so that we can meet our obligations in an audit. So.
Actually, Jared does a really good job. He lines it all out and gives me the information. I just put it in the ledger, so.
Okay.
Right. And our city clerk.
Yeah, this last Friday, I had the great pleasure of attending the Sierra Cascade Logging Conference Board of Directors Siskiyou County Tour. We toured several sites in Siskiyou County, and one of the stops was to the Weed Museum, which I think we were the only two on the tour that knew it existed. So there were a lot of people in the construction and logging industry that really enjoyed the museum. Paul Shelton did an excellent job.
Yes, he does.
And with what Alonzo was stating with the heritage, Paul did a great job talking about, how divided the city was and the, A camp, B camp, C camp, and all of that. So they really enjoyed the museum. They had a great time. We finished the tour in McLeod, which was excellent. But I just wanted to give a shout out to the Weed Museum. It was beautiful. They don't open until Memorial Day weekend. And if people have not gone through it or haven't gone through it in years like I haven't, I highly suggest you stop.
Excellent. All right. And before we go to the city manager, does our city attorney have a report from the cloud?
Nothing to report this evening. Thank you.
All right. And our city manager.
Only good news, Dustin. Only good news.
Fine. No, Chief and I last Friday went to talk to the college because it's about time to re-up our agreement. And while my original $25,000 request wasn't honored, we at least struck a middle ground with the college for a 5% increase this year and a 10% increase next year, and then we'll renegotiate it again. I was really thought that Chief and I did a good job tag teaming. He had all the data and I was just trying to keep moving the barometer up, but I was really happy with the way the negotiating went. I've been working with Chief to push that number up for the amount of time they spend versus what we're getting reimbursed. We're at least getting closer to the number that reimburses him and his department for what they do for the college, while still maintaining that partnership at the same time.
Do we know when the dorms are supposed to be fully established, have students in them?
I think we're around 2 years out on that. There's significant amount of underground utility work that has to be done before they can even start focusing on that foundation.
So we'll be able to have renegotiations before we
Yes.
start
Yes.
looking at it.
The dorms, per their numbers, will add 161 people to their campus, staying on their campus.
And that discussion was had where they felt that a separate agreement would be done for those specifically. I don't know if that's necessary, but we're planning for it. So that was something I was happy with this week. I'm continuing to work on this week's project, and probably for the foreseeable future, I'm going to start working on rewriting our personnel manual.
Did you get the new printer?
No.
Oh, because I thought we were supposed to be able to print in some more cash. Anyway.
That's all I've got.
All right. Well, we are through staff reports, and now we will adjourn to closed session.
Okay.
I
We need a
move,
motion.
I make a motion to adjourn to closed session.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are now going to closed session.
Are we going to that room again?
No.